What's up, you guys? This is episode 3 of the Highkey podcast. It's been a couple of weeks because I had no idea how much work a podcast really was, and I have zero time anyways, but I enjoy it. I just needed to take a second and get my ducks in a row. But we're here, and I'm really excited about our guest today. It is the one and only from Farmer Wants a Wife Season 1 with me, Meghan Baker. Silent round of applause.
Hey, guys.
Meghan and I have never really actually talked like one-on-one like this, other than DMs and this and that. So I'm kind of excited because it is like going to be like a very genuine conversation for you guys today. Yeah. Meghan, how are you? Like, give me an update on life since Farmer Wants a Wife. How, like, what have you been up to? Kind of fill everybody in with all of that.
So life has been great. I've moved back from Texas. I moved back to the family farm and I fixed up an old farmhouse out on the property.
Cute.
So living the farm life, but also living the single life. Did not find a husband. So I guess I became the farmer.
Literally, you really are though. Like, you are the farmer in the situation now.
Yeah, I am a farmer. So maybe farmer finds her husband eventually out here on the farm. But
wait, I love that
so I'm out
spin-off
here.
idea. Let's pitch it. I love that.
Yeah, let's pitch
Yeah,
it.
so
Fox,
okay, so
Farmer
single.
wants a husband.
You said you're in school, Meghan?
Selling insurance.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm selling insurance. I'm back in school to become a Pilates instructor.
Oh,
And so, yeah, fit and fun.
stop. I know for a fact you've said that before. That's amazing. Oh my God, that's so great. Really, have you always been into health and stuff like that? Like, or like, where did that come from?
So in college, I always did like spin classes and
Yeah.
stuff. And then when I moved to Texas, I didn't know anybody. I packed my bags and moved 16 hours away from home and found a Pilates studio and I just fell in love with it. And so then I went on the show and of course didn't have Pilates. So then I came back, did Pilates again, and now I'm back on the farm and there's no fitness class around the farm. So I figured if there's nobody to teach it, why not just go ahead and start teaching myself?
Yeah. So how long is the like
We're going to see
schooling
where this
for that?
adventure takes me.
Yeah. How long is the schooling
So
for that?
school is
Oh my God, the glitching.
so school is about 6 months.
6
So we'll be
months.
6 months in school, half a year, and then we will see where the fitness takes us. Maybe we'll open up a farm and fitness studio. Who knows?
I love the idea of
Maybe
like
goat
goats running
yoga?
around and stuff. They definitely do like yoga and goats and stuff like that. Have you ever like heard of one of those classes?
Yeah, we might just open up a goat yoga Pilates studio here on
What
the
do they
farm.
call it with Pilates? A reformer? Is that what that is? The big machine or whatever?
Yes, so that's what my main focus is going to be, the reformers machine.
Okay. So
Reformers
you guys didn't
classes.
have that at Hunter's
Yeah.
Farm? That's crazy.
No reformers at Hunter's Farm. I mean, guess we could have done. We did some yoga out on the field.
Oh, did you? I'm dying. You guys, this is so great because I genuinely have no idea about their experience, I guess, on Hunter's Farm from Megan's point of view. A couple of the other girls, yeah, but one of the main reasons that I wanted to have Meghan on was just because I genuinely wanted, someone who I just didn't have the opportunity to speak much with on the show and to be able to kind of chat about like our experience and what our thoughts are in life afterwards without actually already knowing what the answers are because I've gotten to do it with a lot of the other girls. Okay, so you're single. Well, okay, wait, guys. So we have to have Gatsby edit. We just had this major glitch, but Meghan was telling me about the couple of guys that she's seen since the show. They didn't last very long. They weren't the ones. Did you in the relationship? Did they? Was it kind of both? And I feel like maybe I've seen 2 guys. And then if you think about how long it's been since we filmed the show, it's actually been quite some time. So.
Yeah, so we filmed the show. I mean, it was a long process. You remember that. You weren't allowed to date. You weren't allowed to be on dating apps, anything like that. So we filmed the show a good year, production, and then watching the show took a whole year.
Yeah.
So I guess when Hunter and I went public about the breakup, we had been broken up for a little bit. And then I went and started dating again. And I found a boyfriend because I don't just date to date. Apparently, when I date them, they all ask me out right away, and
That's a good
so
thing. You're right.
I
They want to
had
bring you home to mama.
yeah. So one brought me home to
Mhm.
mama, and we started dating, and he was a real fun time. But he just wasn't my
Mhm.
person, and so we are still good friends. But we kind of let that one go. And I remember the hate from the internet saying, "Oh, he's not Hunter." And I guess like dating, I've kind of learned that they're gonna hear that here soon. That oh, it's not Hunter. You messed up. You should have picked that one. And I guess that kind of messes with their head a little bit. But
It actually does.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's always when I post them. So I was never gonna post the boys on the internet. I
Mm.
posted two
Mhm.
after 4 months of wife
Yeah, I
now at
know.
this
Like,
point
it's not
because I
actually been that
think
many. It's been probably like a very normal amount, like for you to try to like be with a boyfriend. Like, so yeah, it's not
yeah.
been, yeah.
Yeah, but like I normally wouldn't post the
Mhm.
boys, but they do kind of get a little insecure, is what I am learning. If you are with a boy and you have been on a dating show and you have a little bit of followers, they are starting to see all the DMs of the boys messaging you all the time, and they're starting to get a little insecure. And so I just put them out there. I'm like, hey, I like you. I mean, you're the only one I'm talking
Right. You're
to.
like, okay,
And
no
then the second I
problem.
post
Yeah.
them, it's like they're out. Yeah, the second you post them, the girls start flooding their follows. They start getting all this attention, and then they're like, "Man, look at all these girls hitting me up." And then I'm out. And then it just starts going downhill there. So I've learned the next one that I date will not be posted on the internet.
For like quite some time. You're right. Cause then it's like, oh, they get comfortable or something. No, that's how it was. The last relationship that I was in, I, we were talking for like, we were together for like 6 months, and he had saw some DM
Hmm.
from some guy, from a guy who didn't know I was in a relationship. And he got really mad about it. And I was like, no, hey, say less. I'll post a photo. No big deal. You know what I mean? And then I did, and I'm not joking. We broke up 2 days later. It was actually awful.
Yeah, that's how it happens every
Oh
time.
yeah, I'm not joking. 2 days later.
And,
Yeah, and we like had just said I
and
love
then
you
you
two
get
days.
so mad.
Right? I'm like, I knew
Yeah.
better. Mm-hmm.
Hey, I got one after I posted him. So my last one. I mean, I really liked him. We had talked for a year of my life, and we had just always been friends. And we decided to give that relationship a go. He was in Texas.
We love a
Went up
Texas man.
there. We started,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we started dating. He asked me to be his girlfriend a month after hanging out, and then he expressed that he loved me. And then after I posted him on the internet, 2 days later, it's like,
Yeah.
oh, take
You
that
don't love me
back
anymore.
because you
Yeah.
didn't say it back. So it's yeah, so that's just how love life is going.
Oh man,
But
that's
yeah,
great.
back on the dating apps.
But you're younger
We'll
though,
figure it
right?
out.
How old are you, Megan? You're 20.
Uh
Okay, I was gonna
24.
say 3. Okay.
So I just turned 23. Like I had my birthday the week before I went on to Farmer Wants a
Mm.
Wife. Yeah.
Do you feel like?
So
Do
I
you
was a
feel
real
like, looking back, that it would have been better at a different age, or was it great? Like being in your younger 20s, or like, do you have any thought on that?
I think that it was good the time that I did it. I think that it did cause a little bit more hate from the people of the internet that I was younger
Because
because
you
I
were
wasn't ready
younger?
for a husband. Yeah,
Really?
because
They'll hate you for
I
anything, so I'm
wasn't
not
ready.
surprised. They'll,
Yeah.
they'll find they'll
Uh,
find anything to dislike the internet. Like we talked about this before, kind of like in the DMs. It's brutal. Hmm.
yeah. I mean, they'll get you. It doesn't matter. The women will come after you. Not the men, though. The women.
No, it's like
Women support women out
the
here.
teachers who are a mom to like 3 young kids. It's just, yeah, it's quite interesting. It's pretty,
Or it's the ones that have like three daughters,
yes.
and they'll get on there and tell you
Right.
that you should have married this man and moved into his house 2 weeks after meeting him while he was dating five other women. But you're the wrong one for not
Hmm.
moving in.
Hmm.
But
Well, I just got eat a salad.
yeah,
I
can't
just
change
got
it.
eat a salad. Go eat a salad or something. You know what I mean? Like, oh my gosh, that is kind of crazy. So
Yeah, I
so
love.
so no regrets on going, in your, at the age that you were, because I'm a completely different person at 29 than I was at 23. You know what I mean? Um,
Oh, hmm
so it's like for me personally, I'm like, I don't know if I could have handled it if I was. It's not an easy thing to go through. You know what I mean? Like, it's such a unique experience. It's so different. You can't really even really explain it to people who haven't done it. Just, you can as best, like, you can try, but it's just so different. I feel like I just don't know if I would have handled it as well if I was, you know, in my younger, lower half of my 20s.
Yeah, I mean, also I went in very naive, like just thinking I was gonna hop on there and there was gonna be a farmer on his horse and we were just gonna ride off into the sunset and get married and be happily ever after. And that it wasn't gonna be so cutthroat or there were not gonna be any girls, that there was competition. I thought we were just gonna go in there and get married and start a little happy farm
I
life.
know.
And I was shy and quiet. But now knowing what I know now, and I feel like I've grown out of my shell quite a bit from the very beginning of the
Mm-hmm.
show. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't take it back for anything because it's made me the person I am today.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, wait. So going back to relationships then, I'm sure you probably, like, I don't know how much of this you've shared online. And like, obviously whatever you're comfortable with, but brief summary for anyone who hasn't heard, who is Farmer Once Wife fan, like, kind of what happened with Hunter. How did things end? Was it, I mean, you can keep that answer as simple as you want or not, but I don't personally know the details. So I'm kind of curious, like, did you guys try for a while or no? Or
Yeah, I mean, we didn't really post it publicly. Hunter made a big post one day about how he wrote a poem and said we couldn't love for likes. I wouldn't move to Georgia. And then I got a lot of hate that day. That day probably took me down. I had to turn off my phone and get rid of the internet because I got death
so
threats
y'all
and
didn't
a lot of
agree
women
on
like telling me
doing
how
like
much.
a public post about what happened with the relationship. Y'all didn't agree on that.
We agreed because I put out a
Okay.
post, but I think I was probably a little more immature about it than he was. I put out there
Heard.
about compromise. I mean, because I mean, as a girl, like you get your feelings hurt, and as a guy, like I'm sure you get your feelings hurt too, because it was something like we probably both went on there to find our person, and it just didn't work out.
Mm-hmm.
Because realistically, for me, I am a quality time person, and for me to like fall in love with somebody, I have to spend time with them. And after the show, we went into hiding. It was not,
Yeah.
you couldn't see each other. Like
Not a normal relationship.
we could,
Yeah.
no, I mean, he couldn't take me out on a date. It was not that we were living next door to each other. And then I packed my bags and moved back from Midland to Tennessee,
Mm-hmm.
and I was a 5 hour drive. So, I mean, I drove to him a few times and I just kind of fizzled out is what happened. And then
Mm-hmm.
the public post happened, and then I got real upset and real worked up and
Oh, of course.
stopped talking to him.
Mm.
Um, yeah, but I mean, no hard feelings. I
Yeah.
think if we still saw each other today out in public, we'd wave and say hi.
Right.
But,
Right.
and
Yeah.
yeah, like,
Okay.
I mean, but it was kind of hard too because he was my person that I could tell everything to. He was the only person I could talk to about what was going on in my life for a whole year.
Mm-hmm.
Because you couldn't tell anybody else. You
Mm-mm.
couldn't talk to really any of the other girls about it because they didn't really understand.
Mm-mm. Right. Right.
Uh-uh.
Do you feel like you loved
Yeah.
Hunter?
He never told me he loved me, and I never told him that I loved him. But I think there's love.
Yeah.
I think there was love there. I
Mm-hmm.
think that you can love a person, because you care about them and you wish the best for him. And I think he probably still loves me and wishes me the best,
Of
and I
course.
love him and wish him the best.
Right.
Yeah.
No, you guys definitely had a lot more love than Allan and I's relationship for sure. Allan just wanted to strangle me half the time, but I will never forget what I don't remember which episode it was, but there was this, it was y'all's date. You were on a horse, and I think he might have like asked you for the kiss, right? Like it was the cutest, most like sincere, genuine moment ever, and I think everybody felt that when they were watching it. I'll never forget watching it back, and I was like, Wow, that made her feel really good. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that is how it's supposed to be. You know,
Yeah.
it was really like you could tell you guys had that genuine, you know, like affection and care for each other. You could tell that there was something there. It was, you know, legitimate.
Yeah, and I don't know, I think you could tell it from day one, like the first day we got on the farm. Like there was a connection there, and there was just a look that we gave each other, and we just felt special about each other in a special way, and then life happens.
Yeah, and 100%. Yeah, especially after something like that. Like, I just think all odds are maybe against you.
Also, yeah, I also think that because we had the one-on-one date, and then I got because they put you in hotel rooms, like you go and you get ready before you go back.
Mhm.
So I got the phone call that next morning that my grandfather had passed away.
Mhm.
And he was the first person that I wanted to tell because he was my person. And so I went and told him. And I mean, he dropped everything that day to make sure he took me to the airport. And it just showed something like really special to me. It showed me that he really did care for
Mhm.
me. Because I think as a woman, it's very hard to think that a man is wanting you when he's dating all these other women at the same
Mhm.
time. I mean, they do it in real life too, but you just
We
don't
just
see it
don't know
out in the
about it.
open.
Thank the
Yes,
Lord.
it's just kept a little more
Yeah,
quiet.
exactly.
Um, yeah,
Yeah.
and so then I came back and we just gave it a go and it was special, but I also think that sometimes the viewers forget like that was real life and it was a very challenging time in my life and emotions are high, emotions are real, and it's not just all fake on camera.
Oh yeah, no,
So I
100%.
think,
I think that's probably one of the most
yeah.
asked questions I get was like, how staged was this? I'm like, they never told me what to say. What do you mean? You think I'm going to let somebody
Yeah.
tell me what to say of all people in the world? Like, okay, no. As much as I wish I could blame some of the stupid things that I did and said, like, I wish I could. That would be awesome. But nope, nope, all me, baby. No, but I get that question all the time, and I'm like, no, I think that's what, at least from what I hear from other dating shows and people who I've known who have gone on in them, I do think it's a lot more genuine than a lot of others that I've like heard. Right, where there's nothing that's that scripted. I'm like, no, nope. Every dumb thing you saw that happened was just me, or you know what I mean? Like it was legitimate. So yeah, you guys definitely had a really cute relationship, and I'm sorry that it didn't work out or whatever. But yeah, I think you're doing just fine. Just saying,
Uh,
you're living.
it's life.
You're living. Yeah,
It's
exactly.
part of
Yeah, yeah,
it.
yeah. Yeah, you're living.
Yeah.
Um, okay, getting away from like the sad part of all that stuff. I did want to ask you because I was thinking about this too. Like, if you could give yourself advice, um, I don't know, just even like before you went on, now that you've gone on a dating show, and maybe you can relate this to somebody who's considering going on a dating show or whatever it may be. Like, was there anything that you would do differently, or you would have thought through more, or you know, just anything that you go, oh, I would have told myself this before I started filming, you know, on the reality dating show.
Being who I am now, and but this all came from growth. So I don't know if I could have told myself this advice. Like the first day I tried to leave because I got there and I started hearing, I mean, there were 32 beautiful women there with us. You walked into a room and you were like, oh, I mean, why am I here? So like just be confident in yourself. But I walked in and everybody was telling this story about how they were like a kick-ass CEO of some company, or they did a nonprofit for children somewhere. And then I walk in, or they're telling you this story about how they started this life. I walked in and I said, I have no story. Like, I don't have a story to tell. I'm just normal old little Megan that is just here. I grew up on a farm. That's just me, Farmer Megan. So I think that, and like the more you get to know me and the more stories I tell about myself, obviously people liked me on camera and I did have a story to tell. So there's always something about you that makes you special. So don't let other people's stories bring you down in a way. Always remember like you are that person, and
And that's enough.
I don't know,
No,
it's
that's
just you.
such good advice. That's so
Yeah, you are
true. Right.
enough.
Because no, that's so good because I think everyone has to, at least from what it seems like, has to have a story. Like if they're gonna showcase you or your life or want you to be on something where they're gonna broadcast it to people, like you need to have a story for them to want that, right? And it's like, no, it's okay to be normal and
Yeah.
it is okay to be normal, to have a normal life. And that's like enough for you to feel interesting or like you deserve to go on something like that. You know what I mean? Where you're given a shot at love like that. Like I totally agree. That's so true. Actually, I think that all the time. Like, does
Yeah.
everyone have to have a story? Like why? No. Like, can't life just, like, oh, like, thankfully I've had a pretty decent life, and like, I'm genuinely here for love. I don't have a story or the sad, and that's not to take away from other people's stories, but that's such a good point. It's like that's
No.
enough. It's just, you know what I mean? Being you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just be you and you're enough. And when I got there, I was so nervous because I mean, I don't know, I was young. There were a lot of beautiful women there, and you just lose your
Dude,
confidence a little
I
bit.
was nervous. I was tripping balls when we first got there to film. I mean, literally. So, Reba, I'm sure you got a chance to, I don't know all the girls' names, but she is the blonde that's with, do you know who I'm talking about on Forever One's Wife season 2? Okay.
Yeah.
So
Uh-huh.
everybody's like, oh, you're going to be a Cassidy Jo number 2, whatever. Saying this to her. Well, her and I FaceTime because she wanted a little bit of advice before episode 1. And then after episode 1, I texted her. I'm like, how you feeling? She's like, I literally look like a jacked up Energizer bunny. I was like, dude, I feel the same way when I watched myself episode 1. I was so like high strung. I'm like, oh, and it was just my nerves. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if that's how I was compensating dealing with that. I was like, I'm going to be the most outgoing. I'm like, golly, you'd think I just took like 18 shots of espresso or something. It was just a lot, but that's how I dealt with it. I was so nervous. No, it was,
Yeah, you talked, and me, all of a sudden the camera came around, and I was like, nope, not a word is coming out of me. I don't even want to talk to you. I don't want to talk to anybody here. Leave me alone. I know I'm on TV, but please just leave me. I don't want to be here.
right. I'm
Like
dying.
that first episode we made it to the farm, I don't know. I just convinced myself that it was all acting, and since there were cameras around and everything, and then Hunter had finally like calmed me down. He was like, I'm not an actor. Like, we're gonna get to know each other. This is real. And then we get back to the table, and one of the girls starts joking around and says, "Oh my gosh, you're such an actor." And like, it just absolutely flew all over me. And I started thinking, am I dumb? Like, why am I here? Everybody here is trying to act out some story. I don't want to act. And so I just storm off from the table, storm out behind the barn. I'm like, I've got to go. But then, mind you, you're all mic'd up, so they hear everything that you say every single time.
Oh, yeah. You definitely learn. Yeah, no, you definitely learn the hard way that
Yeah.
you got a hot mic even when, you're not. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's what is the, we're always watching Wadowski. It's definitely what it was. Yeah. You learn the
Yeah,
hard
it's
way for sure. But so I feel like maybe too, like, tell me if I'm wrong. Because if this were me and I had like a real genuine thing, like I feel like you and Hunter had, um, it might seem like too good to be true. Like, you know what I mean? So in your mind, you're already kind of saying like, there's these cameras, like what is right. And then, you actually have like a genuine, like you feel something. So you're like, oh wait, like, I don't know, maybe you might get in your head even more in that case.
well, that was definitely it. And like the more I started feeling for him, I was like, okay, I mean, there's still four other women here. And who's to say that he's not going to just change his mind and pick one of these women? And
Yeah, don't I know rejection's hard on television. Yeah. And I don't know many people in the history of dating shows who asked for a simple kiss and was told no. Like, I'm shook.
yeah.
Yeah. So that happened.
Hey, but like it was Allan. Like it, I feel like that's just Allan. I feel like he's just,
Oh, the best part about it too, looking back, oh, it's hilarious. Like, is that He's like, he did an office moment where he looked at the camera right after. He's like, well, that's going to start some trouble. And he looked right at the camera. And then they actually showed that. I just thought that was the best thing ever. I'm like, oh, I love that. That's so great. No, and it's looking back, it's so funny. All I did was just make fun of myself. Cause I'm like, that go figure. You know, I would go like, oh, I feel confident he's going to say yes. And he's like, no, not right now or whatever. But yeah, no, it's all pretty funny. I just make fun of
If,
myself. That's how I deal with it.
yeah, if you ever feel bad, just go back and watch that very like first episode of me crying on camera saying, I don't want to compete with other girls. I don't want to be on camera. Also, I've signed up for a reality TV show. To a dating show to date the same man as other women. So yeah, that was a great one.
Well, it's okay. I cried from episode 1 to the end. Every single episode, they literally have a clip of Sarah saying to me, "Okay, but let's hold the tears in today." Like, so, but that's like the point of, I think, like, this makes a good point. Is you were saying, I don't want to have to compete. I don't like these cameras, and like, oh, this is what I sound up for. I'm an idiot. But truly, like, no one can. You cannot prepare for that feeling, you know. So to be in that moment of, wow, this is really odd. You know what I mean? I feel like that's so normal.
Yeah, I don't think anything really prepares you for reality
Mm-mm.
TV
Mm-mm.
because you just don't you just go in and then it's not anything that you would ever expect.
Mm-mm. No, yeah, no, it's definitely not. Wild times. So speaking of Allan, because I wanted to touch on this and I wanted to ask you this.
I already
Speaking
know
of
where this is
Allan,
heading.
yep, yep. So, are you, Megan? Are you and Allan dating?
Um, no.
Oh, okay, good.
Alan and I are not dating. Even though we were neighbors and we live about 30 minutes apart, we are just friends, strictly friendship here. Alan
You know,
is single though,
I
so
had
hit
to
him
do
up.
it. That video is so funny. I went through the comments. Are like, are they dating? I was like, oh, this is great. Like, this is good. This is hilarious. It's so good.
Yeah.
Actually, so I recently just turned them off, but I get Google alerts for when the show aired for my name and for Farmer Wants a Wife. So anytime there'd be like a new article or something, I'd check out the like it'd be sent to me in an email. Well, now that season 2's up, I turned it off because I'm like, oh my gosh, this is a lot.
Yeah.
But I got one before I turned off the Google alerts. I got one. This is how I know to go look at your video. This is how I know to go look. Is I got an email with a Google alert, and it's an article saying, "Are Farmer Allan and Meghan Baker dating?" And it's a whole article. Somebody took the time to write this article. Bless them. To like try to figure out if you two are dating, all because of that video you posted. And I was like, wow, are they? And again, this was like, for me, I'm like, all right, this was like, I've just been like, so I feel like just friendly with everybody since the show. I don't know. So I'm like, no way, really? So I went to go look. Like, I'm like, oh, it wouldn't be like the craziest thing to happen. And then I noticed what the video like was from, like I think where it was filmed or something like that. And I was like, this is good stuff. But no, you great stuff because you had people writing articles about you. It's so funny.
Yeah. Did you see the video after? Or I put the article up on, you'll have to look at that one later. I put the article up on and posted that Alan was single and to hit him up and send your applications to me if you're looking to date Alan.
What a gal! What a nice lady. No, I didn't see that one. I was gonna pull it up, but you just explained it to me. So,
Yeah.
wow, that's really nice of you. I did see a video that Landon posted the other day for him too, like saying for Landon's so funny. It's like
I
such
love
a mess.
Landon.
That's crazy though. I do too. That's crazy, y'all. So you live 3 minutes away from him now?
30.
Oh, 30. Okay, I thought you said three.
30
I'm like, wow,
minutes.
you really are right down the road in Santa Fe.
No, I mean, there's like a little restaurant by my house in the middle of nowhere. And so he'll come to town and he'll go to the restaurant. And then all of a sudden, all the little farmers will start talking. Alan's down here in Megan's neighborhood. Are they dating? Are they seeing each other?
Oh, that's hilarious. That's great.
Yeah. And then
Love
Alan will
that
hear it and he'll
stuff.
be like, Megan, shut that down. Like, shut it down right now. We're just friends.
No, I love it. Just put them through it. That's so great. That's awesome.
Yeah. Hmm.
So, so another question I want to ask you is like, what was your biggest challenge? Like, besides the whole like, wow, you can't really prepare to go on a reality dating show. Um, Maybe something like, because I like to hear from the girl's point of view. I did not expect to be in this small house. I genuinely had no idea when we got to the hotel for the first day of filming what I had signed up for. I mean, I knew the concept, like the type of men. I thought we were all going to be in a big old mansion together, like normal dating shows, you know? I really didn't know. And I think some girls had tried to like put two together and figure it out. I should have tried to do that because I had no idea. And so for me, it was like living in this small house with like only a couple of girls and you can't escape. It was really tough. So I like to hear from other girls on other farms, like, is that something that you struggle with too? Or like, what was your biggest, like day to day struggle? Since Farmer Once Wife is just so different,
Um,
compared to other shows.
yeah, so the living quarters was kind of tough for us. I don't know if y'all had different rooms, but we all lived in the same room, right beside each other on bunk beds. And then, I mean, if a girl didn't like me, I was like, is she about to unscrew those bolts on the top of the bunk bed or something? I mean, like, she's sleeping on top of me. That was like my biggest concern because I didn't know how these girls were going to react.
Right,
And
right. And those
you
bunk
could,
beds
like, you
were
couldn't,
not the highest of quality. They were definitely put together pretty quick. Yeah. Uh-huh.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then first off, you're in a place that you don't know where you even are in the middle of nowhere, and
No.
you're with these women you've never met before, but y'all are all dating the same man, and y'all are trying to be friends because y'all all live in the same house together.
Yeah.
But I mean, really, are you friends with the girl that's trying to date your boyfriend in real life? No.
No, it makes it right. Like it's so hard. Like it makes it really challenging because like exactly. Like that is not normal, but you have to
Like if
somehow
you
navigate that.
yeah, and if you go and kiss a boy and you want to come back and you want to tell your girlfriends like, "Hey, I kissed him." I mean, you can't come back in the house and be like, "Hey, I just kissed him." Yeah.
Right. And also like it was okay, so yeah, so I don't know maybe if you're kind of referring to my situation, but it
No,
was
I mean,
not
I
brag
wasn't referring, but like it's
but but like sort of.
yeah, I mean, like
Okay,
really, I didn't come
it
back
was
in
not a
and
brag.
say that I
Thank you. I
kissed
actually
Hunter.
right. Megan, thank you for bringing this up because it was not a brag-worthy kiss. It was not a brag-worthy kiss,
No.
but okay, not a brag-worthy kiss. I'm like, well, you know what? There's just not a reason I would ever brag about this. And I didn't know I had to go in and like tell somebody because, right, I'm at the time was, how old was I at the time? 27. I'm like, that's a grown woman doing my own thing out here. It was not brag-worthy. Anyways, and so then it's like, oh, all hell broke loose. And I was like, for what? Like, what? Like, this is just so weird to me. Like, it's not a big deal. I'm going to, like, tell you guys, trust me. And I kept saying to them, when you watch it back, I promise you, you're going to be like, oh, that's funny. Like, that's why she didn't say anything or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's just really hard to navigate all that. It's a really good point.
Yeah, I mean, it was just I don't know, very very small space, trying to be besties to the resties with these girls, and I mean, I just did a lot of walking. I just would leave the farm, just go on a walk by myself, and I
Dude,
like to be alone.
I love walks. Walks are like fundamental for my mental health, which I don't know if that makes me sound old and if I don't know, but they're so good. I literally like it's the best thing for my psyche sometimes just to take the dogs on a walk in the middle of the day.
Hey, do you feel like you gained weight on the show? Do you feel like the show?
Oh,
Mm.
oh my gosh, because we got to eat from the one restaurant that was like 20 minutes away because that's how in the middle of nowhere we were. Yes, and it was like dinner rolls for lunch and like, yes, yes, of course. Did you? Although you're tiny, but
Yes, you
yeah.
can see my face like start at the beginning of the show, and then like at the end of the show you can see it like slowly getting a lot bigger. I mean, because you didn't do anything. Like we didn't go to the
Mm-mm.
gyms.
Nope.
We you didn't like eat your normal food that you were eating. You ate
No.
what they provided. And so I came back and I was like, oof, okay, time
Wow.
to get back on my
Yeah.
routine.
No, that's so true, though. It's so true. You definitely you like want to go in and look good, and then you're like, wow, all this for I have to be here for weeks now, and there's absolutely nothing I can do to feel right. Because yeah, I mean, it was so bad, like in Allan's little town, that I remember one night, and I don't know if y'all actually cook, but we like really did cook some nights. I say we, me, I definitely did the cooking, and the girls will say that I did. Now it was only a couple of times, but like on the nights where if we didn't have like a ton of groceries, the one time like it was like last minute, we're like, wow, we don't have anything to eat, we're starving. He had to call the guy that like manages the gas station and like beg him to make him pizzas because he's like, dude, we're closing in 10 minutes. But it literally had to like, well, I'll do a favor for you, Allan, because whatever, and like call a favor in to get a pizza made at a gas station. That was our only options. Like, not joking. Yeah. Yeah.
Love that.
Which is good.
Yeah.
Again, going back to the point where I was like, I did not know that is what we were signing up for. Which now, like looking back now, it all kind of makes sense because I just remember, and I think it might have been Tina actually with the casting team. Love her. Shout out Tina. She had said, well, just pack enough underwear and like new fresh underwear, and like in case you can't do laundry for like several weeks. I thought that's weird. So you know what I did? I seriously brought like 50 pairs of underwear.
Did y'all do laundry?
Oh yeah, I mean yes, absolutely. But it seemed like what like we were gonna be living in the wilderness, like on Survivor or something, and can't do our laundry. It was I was like, what am I signing up for? I had no idea. Maybe poor Tina. Maybe she thought these men just lived such like secluded lives that they didn't own like washers and dryers or
something. Well, I was told I was heading out west. I was not told I was heading to Georgia. I was told I was heading out west and to pack warm jackets. So I packed like all these winter clothes because I thought I was about to be in the mountains in the snow. No, it was definitely hot some days, cold some days. Great times.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it's the one thing. It's the only thing I don't really miss about the South is the like fluctuation of everything. That's tough. Okay, so I feel like we're probably getting up there in the time, which is crazy because we've had some interruptions with the glitches in the service and stuff. So I'm trying my best to like see what the full time is or whatever. But really, like anything, like I guess Megan, that I don't know where you're at in your life. Like you want Farmer One's Wife fans to know this or that. Like your 2 seconds to say anything. Like, is there anything where you're like, yeah, actually this happened recently, or like what are your thoughts on season 2, and kind of just where you're at right now, and is there anything left unsaid? If not, it's great.
Man,
the
not
rest
really.
Is still unwritten. I think the guys are really cute on season 2.
Oh,
That's
definitely. I think they're
really cute.
They're a cute looking group of guys. Okay, who's your favorite?
I do. I'm not doing this because I'm not going to do it because right. Because the good Lord knows we'll post this and right, but I do think they're all like pretty attractive looking cute guys. Gosh, which one is it? Is it? Hang on, let me pull him up again because I'm not going to say the one that I think is cute. I know his name, but hang on. There is one when I was watching, I was like, oh, he kind of seems like he's got like game, which like worries me. You know what I mean? Do you know who I'm talking about? Who is it? Who do you think I'm talking about? You're not gonna say. I'll say it.
No. Okay, you say it.
I'll say it. I got you. Reality. I just can't remember all their names, and I'm not gonna say. Oh, here's. Okay. Yeah. So not Ty, not the older one. Yeah, Mitchell. He seems like he like just kind of, I don't know. He's a little too smooth with it. Like seems a little too comfortable with the compliments on all those like little first 10-minute. Do you agree? Do you get that vibe? Just me.
I mean, he was very he was giving out the compliments.
Yeah, I was like, oh, this like stresses me because he just seems a little too. Anyways, that's my thought. They're all very good looking guys though, and
Yeah,
I'm excited to see kind of how it plays out. So
I'm excited to like kind of pass the torch on and maybe let them take it.
you're, you're like, yeah, I'm good. I'm done. I mean, it just seems like so long ago for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
We
mean
all just
it was so long ago, and the fact that I still get the nasty comments about how never take dating advice from the heartbreaker Megan. And so I mean that's that's me. I'm the heartbreaker that just ruined the farmer's life. I think that was the hardest part for me too, because it was kind of it was both of us. I mean, it wasn't just me, not the 23-year-old that came in there and broke the
right,
30-year-old's heart.
right.
I mean,
Right. And like for them to assume too, like with like there's not like these huge details of like, oh, this he cheated or she cheated. The fact that they would just assume that it's on you, that's very weird. It's just very odd to me.
it's very weird that like it's the women too, like the ones like we said before that have like the three daughters, or they come on there, and I'm like, well, man, I hope your daughter never hops on a dating show.
No, no, like a same or just it's. I totally agree, and it's like really sad times that we live in that people can do that. Because like for me, like how does somebody care enough to comment on somebody they don't actually know and like say something, say anything? And I would never in my life like take the
Hmm.
time. You know what I mean? Especially not to make somebody like feel bad or like what? Like
No.
I just think that's weird. I don't know. I'm like, how are you that bored in life? I would just yeah.
Mm,
Mm-hmm.
I
Wow,
don't
so
know.
we
And it's
still get
also
those
the
comments. That's crazy.
yeah. I mean, I still get them like I got one right before we hopped on here. Uh,
Literally
uh,
30 minutes ago.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I just have
Mhm.
to delete them. I've had to filter out some of the words like hunter and sometimes farmer wants a wife. But also, I got the comments about why would you ever go on a dating show? Why would you do this? And I feel like there's a lot of hate from that side of it. But looking back on it, I mean, I take it as a pretty big, I think it's a pretty big thing. I mean, you got picked out of all these other women. They saw something in you to pick you and put
Yes.
you on the show. Like,
Yeah.
okay, okay, Becky, 34, like you go apply for the dating show and you get on, and then
Not
you
Becky.
tell me.
Not Becky. I'm crying. That's great. So if dude, that's so
I,
real. Right.
Yeah,
Right
I mean, so
though.
when they make fun of us all the time, it's like, get on there, go do it. I mean,
Yeah.
then come after me.
No, that's true. No, I definitely am known as like the crazy, like crying girl from, you know what I mean? And I mean, and I feel like you probably get this. There's a lot of good comments and, but it's just, it's like quite interesting having to deal with the negativity and like the criticism when it's something you never really had to deal. You know what I mean? It's
Oh yeah,
another
there will be
level
like a
of,
hundred comments of how people love you and you're beautiful and
yeah.
you're great, and then you'll see the one where it's like, go fall in a hole, and that's the one that sticks with you. I mean, that's just kind of life, but it's like, oh, okay, thank you.
Go fall in a hole. Eat a salad. Okay. All right. Got it. Thanks. We couldn't eat salads. We literally were eating from the gas station freaking pizza box, like whatever that they make. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
You
No,
could
I
have like
know
hit up
it's
the you could have hit up the potato farmer from this season and said, "Hey, can you send me some potato salad?"
that counts as a salad, right? From
Yeah,
where
there you
we're from,
go.
it does. Yes, yeah, it does count.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know that's so true. I know. Well, yeah, and I think that's probably hard, but I feel like eventually, over time, especially because I think there'll be more seasons to come. I feel like it's going to take off and
Hmm.
whatever, but hopefully, you can post a photo or a video of something and then not talk about how they think you're,
Not
a
get
heartbreaker
an
or a bright. Yeah,
article. Yeah,
emailed to
no,
me.
date.
I mean, that was on me, but I'm telling you, I thought it was the funniest thing ever. I was like, not somebody writing an entire article because she made like a post with a friend. It's just crazy. It's so funny.
Yeah, Cassidy Jo's sending it out on Reddit. Look at this. Allan and Megan are together.
This bitch. Like I have the time. Right.
Sending it to her farm. Can you believe she stole our man?
I'm crying because I think there's probably some girls that probably do that kind of crazy stuff.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's
Not
okay.
me though. No, not me. I don't
Mm-mm.
have the time. Well, um, Megan, it was great talking with you, and I feel like we could have been friends. It just there were so many of us girls, and the situation was so unique, that it's like I was never around you guys, and this is
Mm-mm.
like
I mean, people
also
ask all the time. They're like, "Did you like Cassidy Joe?" I'm like, "I didn't know Cassidy Joe,"
I
but
don't
like,
literally don't know.
we,
Yeah,
yeah,
right.
I was like, she was great. I mean, to me, I mean, every time I saw her, she was nice to me. She'd be like, "Girl, you look good." I'd be like, "Girl, you look good." And I mean, we just passed. I mean, there was so much filming and so much stuff going on that you didn't see each other.
Yeah, true. And it's like and I think everybody's had different experiences with people and like the cast and girls because of certain guys or whatever. And it's like there's nothing, like it is what it is. And it's like I'm out on the West Coast. So it's like if there were events going on, okay, yeah, they were out here and a bunch of, y'all from back on the East Coast from the South, obviously it's a whole flight where it's like with California, I could drive 4.5 hours and be there, whatever. So it was like a lot of times it was just like we're just so far apart after filming too. It was like we didn't even have really the chance to even try to connect after either. It's just kind of the way the cookie crumbles.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just kind of luck of the draw too. The girls that were on each other's
Yeah.
farms, and you either become friends with them or you don't because you're dating the
You,
same man.
do you think that it was luck, or do you think they really had a really nice, like master plan? Oh, I think it might be both.
Don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe
Probably
one
a
day
little bit
we'll
of both.
find out.
Yeah, it's probably a little bit of both. I mean, you know what I mean? They're
Yeah.
going to put in different personalities in a house for, a guy and like see, you know what I mean? Like they're not just going to put five me's in a house or five you's. I do feel like, you know, at the like brink of it, we have very different personalities, not when you get down to the core of it, whatever, but I'm just super
Yeah.
stupid loud and you're like, okay, I'm going to probably not say something stupid. I'm going to think before I speak, which again, I'm 29 and I'm still working on that, and that's fine. At least I acknowledge that. But like they weren't going to do that. So it definitely made the whole situation pretty interesting. But
Yeah. Love that.
all right, girl. Well, thank you so much again for coming on so last minute. I'm excited to share this with everybody. Guys, leave a comment. What do you got? What do you guys think about Megan's current like situation? Can we let go of the Hunter thing? Maybe. I'm sure most of you have. I'm probably referring to the one person that's commenting that'll probably be watching this podcast. Actually, let's be honest.
Yeah.
And for everyone that is watching, Phyllis, she is single. Are you active? Ayo. Are you
Hey.
and actively dating right now? Yeah.
I am actively dating.
Hey, catch her in the DMs. I'm sure they definitely do try, but yeah, thanks so much for coming on, Megan, and hopefully we can continue to like try to stay in touch. But it was really nice like being able to connect with somebody who genuinely, and I hope people probably can see that when they watch this, that I just never really had a chance to try to like actually talk with you because we're all doing our own thing and go our
Yeah.
own like separate ways afterwards. So it's been great.
Yeah, it's been great. Nice chatting with you.